There was a heavy, almost deafening silence inside the crowded Flagstaff church. But this wasn't the sacred hush of reverence, it was the tense, suffocating quiet of a family shattered by tragedy. At the front of the church, a framed portrait of Garrison Brown was surrounded by flickering candles. His eyes, frozen in a solemn military grin, spoke of a man who had loved deeply, served honorably, and endured more than most ever knew. In the front row, Janelle sat motionless, her only movement the slight tremble of her fingertips resting on a tissue. Beside her, Gabriel, Hunter, and Logan sat stiffly in their suits, faces etched with a grief that no clothing could disguise. Savannah held tightly to her mother, her expression unreadable. This was a family in mourning, but far from united. Just a few feet away sat Kody Brown. His tie was crooked, his face thin. He wore grief like an ill-fitting jacket. Yet his children barely looked his way. Longing for acknowledgement, for a moment of shared pain, he glanced toward Gabriel and Logan, but received only silence. Robyn sat next to him, dabbing at her eyes. Her sorrow appeared well-practiced, her makeup untouched. She didn't offer Janelle even the briefest look of warmth. The children who weren't hers received none of her recognition. Her grief was symmetrical, polished, performative. Outside, a crowd had gathered. Fans, friends, and extended family. News had spread quickly. Garrison Brown, one of the many children America had watched grow up on television, was gone. The pain of his loss rippled through both the people who had known him and the millions who had only known of him. Suspicion and curiosity swirled around her absence. Within hours, headlines and social media theories exploded. Why didn't Meri attend Garrison's funeral? Accusations flew. Was it apathy? A family rift? But while the storm raged online, Meri sat quietly in the dim parlor of her inn. Rain traced soft lines down the window. She was dressed in black. A single candle flickered on the desk in Garrison's honor. In her hand, she clutched a card addressed to Janelle, her fingers pressing hard into the paper as if trying to pass a part of herself into it. She had thought about going, but the weight of what waited at that church was too much. A family that had shut her out, a husband who had emotionally left long before the legal ties were cut. In her own way, Meri had mourned Garrison. She had reached out to Janelle privately. She sent flowers, letters, love, but she refused to be a prop in someone else's story. When the coverage of the funeral began, she turned the sound off. Alone with her grief, she let the silence carry her. Later, after the official service, the siblings gathered privately in a nearby park. No cameras, no producers, just a circle of lawn chairs, battery-powered lanterns, and tearful hugs. In Garrison's honor, Gabriel lit a lantern and handed it to Hunter. No one disagreed with Gabriel's quiet words. He deserved better. Madison arrived late, but with stories. She read aloud from an old journal Garrison had shared. Painful memories, dark humor, and fragments of poetry. I feel like I'm yelling while underwater, and no one hears, not Robyn, not even God sometimes. The gathering fell still. Even the wind seemed to pause. In that moment, they all realized just how much pain Garrison had carried, and how little had been done to help him. The following night, Gwendelyn went live. The question of Meri's absence had already spread like wildfire. Was she banned by TLC? Being written out again? Her voice, sharper than usual, broke through the speculation. "Let me just clarify something right now," she said, sitting up straighter. Meri chose not to attend because it would have turned into a media circus. Her presence would have overshadowed Garrison's absence. He didn't deserve that. Emotion flickered across her face. She grieved in her own way, and frankly, she's been through enough. She paused, then continued with conviction. I'm sick of people blaming the wrong person. The chat exploded, but she wasn't done. You want to know why Garrison felt so alone? Because my dad stopped showing up. Because he let Robyn keep us apart. Garrison reached out. He wanted a connection. But the one person he needed to hear from the most gave him silence. She took a deep breath. This isn't about who went to a funeral. It's about who was there when it actually mattered. The person who mattered most, the one who failed to show up before it was too late, was now watching from the dark. Kody Brown sat alone, eyes fixed on the broadcast. Robyn had already left the room. They hadn't spoken since the funeral, and she hadn't defended him either. Maybe even she no longer believed in the script they'd rehearsed for years. Cody replayed Gwendelyn's words in his mind, each one striking like a hammer. He remembered ignoring Garrison's texts. He remembered how quarantine rules had become a shield against connection. He remembered the final phone call, ending in a yell followed by silence. He had once convinced himself that he was making hard, necessary choices to keep his family safe. But now, that resolve felt hollow, a cowardice dressed in doctrine. The headlines only made it worse. Kody Brown's children blame him. He lost a son to Robyn's rule. Patriarch or father of none. In a moment of desperation, Cody reached for his phone. He tried to call Janelle, straight to voicemail. He dialed Gabriel, blocked. He opened the family group chat. He had been removed. No church service could compete with the silence that followed. Weeks later, Meri made her quiet return to the public eye. She posted a single photo, a candle. The caption read, "Attention is not a measure of grief. Love is. Garrison, you are forever in my heart. I also carry the wounds of a family that taught me to grieve in solitude. But I am still here. My silence was never absence. It was respect." The post went viral. Even her critics fell quiet. For the first time in years, Meri was seen, not as the forgotten wife or the one pushed aside, but as someone who had silently carried the weight and never lit a match to burn it all down. "She never left," Gwendelyn later wrote when she shared the post. "You just didn't see her." Robyn withdrew even further, retreating to the bedroom for days. Rumors began swirling. Delayed filming, interference from TLC, whispers of divorce. Cody, desperate for unity, pleaded with his children. But this time, instead of simply turning away, they responded. One by one, they began to speak. In interviews, on social media, through audio recordings. And the world began to see that something far deeper had cracked with Garrison's death. Not just the illusion of a functioning polygamous household, but the myth of Kody Brown himself, the father who once appeared to have it all under control. He was a fiction. The masks had fallen. What remained was raw, fractured, and undeniably real. And then there was the bombshell. In the May 25th Sister Wives one-on-one special, Kody Brown admitted to something that stunned longtime viewers. "I didn't know love until I married Robyn." He told host Sukanya Krishnan that he had hoped to raise every wife up to that level and let them all experience what he had with Robyn. Janelle, his ex-wife, responded simply, "It would have been nice if he had told me that." She accused him of rewriting history. "He never said anything like that to me." Meri was more direct and more wounded. She rejected Cody's sentiment outright. "I don't think that's fair. Are we all supposed to be Robyn? I'm Meri, and I'm sorry, but I will not be Robyn." She stood firm in her individuality. "I am my own person. I don't want to be her. If Robyn and Cody get along, great. But that remark, that's deeply unfair." Sukanya asked the question that had long lingered. Is polygamy even possible when equality isn't? The truth seemed obvious now. Each wife had her own identity, her own needs, her own relationship with Cody. And suddenly, He had one wife with whom he shared undeniable chemistry, and no roadmap for how to extend that same connection to the others. Worse, he didn't seem interested in trying. Meri reflected on it all. After more than 3 decades, much of it in emotional isolation, she had finally walked away in 2022. For the last 12, maybe even 14 years, Kody had all but erased her from his life. And now, when questioned about his past, he offered a revisionist tale, one that suited his new narrative. But Meri wasn't buying it. She stood up, she spoke out, and for the first time in a long time, she was truly heard. Meri Brown made it clear, "I'm gonna be my own person." She added firmly, "I don't want to be Robyn." Looking back, Meri, who announced her split from Kody in 2022, believes that Kody's refusal to truly accept her played a big role in the breakdown of their decades-long relationship. She says he neglected her for at least the last 12 to 14 years, maybe even longer. Janelle Brown, who separated from Kody in 2021, also wasn't impressed by Kody's comments about his ex-wives. In a private chat with host Sukanya Krishnan, Janelle called it revisionist history. She said she didn't think Kody ever tried to get closer to his former wives until Robyn entered the picture. "It would have been nice if he had communicated that back then," Janelle said. "He never talked about it with me." As for Kody, after divorcing his third wife Christine in 2022, he made it clear in an April episode of Sister Wives that he's not interested in plural marriage anymore. To Robyn, Kody admitted, "It's hard not to be bitter about the fact that I bought into it. In the end, in the last moments of it, I felt terrible. I don't want to pursue another woman because I don't want that headache. The questions, the struggles, the trust issues." Meri Brown's journey highlights the complexities behind the scenes of Sister Wives. She has been independent and vocal about why she won't be like Robyn. When Kody brought Robyn into the family, Meri confronted him, challenging the idea that all the wives should change to be like Robyn. "I don't think that's fair," Meri said. "I'm Meri. I'm not going to be Robyn." This candid stance sums up much of the tension that unfolded over the years. Despite Kody's hopes of raising every wife to the same level of divine love he shared with Robyn, the reality was far different. The wives are individuals with their own unique relationships with Kody, and not all of those connections were equal. The story of Sister Wives is not just about polygamy, but about identity, acceptance, and the challenges of trying to fit many hearts into one family. Alluding to their 2018 move, Meri said Kody led me to believe those things, but her main complaint was his lack of honest communication about what he really wanted or didn't want. She accused him of telling a story for many years that didn't match reality. Kody admitted there might have been mixed messages, but asked, "Why would I do this?" He also confessed that when he started trying to fix things, he wouldn't court or date Meri now. When Meri finally ended things in early 2023, her friends were thrilled. "It was about damn time," she admitted, "because if he pushed me out and I left, he wouldn't be the bad guy." She implied that Kody had been trying to get her to leave by saying he didn't love her. In the season premiere, Kody said he was ready to let the idea of their family property die. Years ago, the Browns bought 14 acres in Flagstaff, Arizona, planning to build there. But when the full $820,000 price tag came due in 2023, they struggled to pay it off. Kody told Robyn, "I'd almost rather scrap it or sell it and just start over somewhere else." Robyn replied, "I can't talk about that. That's not where I'm at." Janelle, the second wife, told News they simply started to grow apart, but she left mainly because of Kody's poor relationship with some of their children. She said the breaking point was when Kody's bond with her kids broke down, and he didn't try hard enough to fix it. Janelle made it clear on the November 3rd episode that she refuses reconciliation, saying, I don't know how I would ever reconcile with him and have him not have a relationship with my kids. I will always choose my kids. Kody, on the other hand, complained in a September 15th episode, I don't fit in the family anymore. He talked about raising 5 kids with Robyn, Dayton, Aurora, Brianna, Solomon, and Ariella, and only having infrequent contact with some of the others. It doesn't feel like a family. We're probably doing the worst we've ever done in our marriage. Robyn admitted that despite being monogamous for the first time in 14 years, it had been tough between them. She added that Kody is feeling a lot of rejection and even worries she might reject him too. She said, there's no resource to help with the idea that I'm still married to a man who's going through divorces. She's always on guard, making sure Kody isn't sabotaging their relationship. Kody revealed his own crisis of confidence, saying he can't look myself in the mirror and say, hey dude, I love you. Watching his former wives move on has been hard for Robyn, who admitted, I feel like the idiot that got left behind. Adding to Kody's troubles is his shaky relationship with Madison, Janelle's oldest daughter, who has basically cut ties with both Kody and Robyn. Janelle explained that Kody's inconsistency and drama have caused tension, and until he can be reliable, she thinks it's better that the kids don't know much about him. Robyn has pushed Kody to make amends, but she also feels the kids should be making efforts too. Kody, however, seems reluctant, saying every conversation feels like fishing for gossip, and he's tired of it. Meri opened up about her own experience, saying in a confessional, I know you loved me. But Kody's response was dismissive. Meri has her little accusations. I'm not going to comment on it. He admitted their honeymoon was never joyful. On the October 20th show, Kody said he realized their marriage was doomed long ago, but stayed because he feared he wouldn't be allowed to remarry if he divorced. Leadership will never allow you to marry again if you're discarding wives, he said. Janelle said on the September 22nd episode that she might have to lawyer up to get any decisions from Kody. Step 1, she said, was dealing with the Arizona property, which she isn't sure she wants to build on or sell. Legally, she admits she has no claim because there was no valid marriage. Kody claimed he didn't trust Janelle, which is why he didn't discuss the property with her. What do you think about the Brown situation? Let us know in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe for more updates like this. Thanks for watching.